For older fans of the channel, you may remember a video I did on the game Paranormasight, a visual novel I checked out because the dark aesthetic intrigued me. And here I am today, hoping to bring awareness to a trilogy of games that are obscure and spooky. But these games are way scarier than Paranormasight ever was. I'm talking about the Spirit Hunter games. I learned of this series from watching a Let's Play of the first game. Then I binged through all the games myself. I even streamed my first playthrough of Deathmark 2 live on Twitch, back before I quit streaming. So go check out the playlist of VODs after this video if you're interested. The Spirit Hunter series involves the protagonist and their teammate of choice investigating places haunted by spirits. They're adventure games. You solve some puzzles and look around for an assortment of items that may or may not be important. Each game is split up into chapters, with each chapter focusing on a particular spirit. The first two games are entirely in the first person, both in the visual novel scenes and while you're exploring the haunted areas. The third game, Deathmark 2, is a massive overhaul for the series. While still using the visual novel format for a majority of scenes, there are now 2D sprites of the characters that you can see move around in the environments while you're investigating. That's not to mention the huge amount of new character portraits for new and returning characters. You can definitely tell this was the first game of the series made primarily for home consoles like the PS5. Still, the core of the series remains. As much as you are hunting down the spirits, they're hunting you too. Every time you encounter a spirit, you use the items you've collected to defend yourself. You have two options during these encounters. You can destroy spirits or purify them. If you destroy any of the spirits, your teammate will die shortly after as punishment for you failing to completely get rid of the ghost's grudge. You have to purify every phantom to get the true ending and ensure everyone survives. If you read up on the notes about each spirit and the descriptions of the items you pick up, it's usually easy to put together how to help a spirit find solace. Just be aware, spirit encounters in the first two games can be a rigid experience. There's only one way to purify a ghost and safely survive a chapter. If you mess up at any point, you have to start from the beginning. The third game gives you an HP bar, being more lenient in letting you mess up, but they also make every option have a random chance of succeeding or failing, which has its own issues, but I want to keep this video short, so I'm not going to get into it. Regardless of how frustrating these encounters can end up being, I still enjoy them due to how frightening the ghosts you come across are. This is true across all three games. Almost every spirit in the series is, in some way, based off of real urban legends, historical events, or mythology, so there's a nice layer of discovering the horror stories that inspire the spirits you end up confronting. The Spirit Hunter series is developed by Experience Inc., a small indie development company. They mostly focused on creating dungeon-crawling RPGs, such as the Demon Gaze series. They initially planned Deathmark to be another game of that genre, with some of the game's notable staff coming from Demon Gaze. You can see remnants of that idea in how you navigate each area, with the maps being divided into connected blocks that you use the D-pad to move between. Ultimately, they went down the horror game route in an attempt to break out of their niche, and I would say it worked out well. Maybe it's because I'm a scaredy cat, but every scare got me. It rarely does it do jump scares. There were entire visual novel scenes that were super tense and had me on edge. Plus, as I showed earlier, the designs of these spirits are freaky as hell. There have been many artists involved with the series across its three games, but the overall style of the series has remained pretty intact. I like the more realistic look of the characters in contrast to the wild appearances of the spirits. In terms of other areas of presentation, the OSTs, done by Naoaki Jimbo, are really solid. Most of the music is creepy and sinister, with the more bombastic pieces capturing the terrifying atmosphere of a spirit encounter. But there are a few tracks that have a nice, chill vibe to them. Hell, you might have heard a few of them be used in my previous videos. There's a small amount of voice acting in the games, and it's all in Japanese. Aside from a few sound bites from each character, you'll have a lot of reading to do. But hey, it was fun picturing what the characters sounded like in my head, as well as voicing them on my streams. But through reading the text in these games front to back, I've come to realize some things I would say are notable flaws, and they have to do with the writing. The overarching story of each game is compelling, and so are a lot of the backstories for the spirits. However, when it comes to the characters, this series doesn't do the greatest job handling them. Only one person accompanies you throughout the haunted places, and since you can switch who your teammate is at almost any time during the chapter, the games don't leave much room for standout characterization. They do get better about this in future games, and even back in the first game, there were a few characters who I grew to like. But character writing and development isn't this series' strong suit. It's a series of horror games though, so I'm willing to give it a pass on that, especially since it's clear they are improving with each entry. My second issue with the writing has more to do with the translation. You see, as I mentioned earlier, a big part of this series is going around finding items and solving puzzles. One type of puzzle Spirit Hunter likes to do involves wordplay. Damnedest thing about that. It's hard to translate wordplay for a puzzle into another language, especially when that original language is Japanese. There are a lot of Japanese idioms and phrases that are simply lost in translation, so you get situations where the puzzles barely make any logical sense when you try to piece them together. In NG and Deathmark 2, they do a much better job giving you the context needed for the Japanese wordplay to make sense to an English reading player. Heck, aside from a few typos I noticed here and there, Deathmark 2's writing was translated super well, so I commend Access for getting better at localizing the series over time. It may seem counterintuitive to bring up negative aspects of this series in a video that's pretty much an open recommendation, but hey, it's fair to acknowledge that this series has growing pains, it has issues, but make it clear these games do make an earnest effort to improve. I still believe this trilogy is a set of hidden gems you should check out if you're into horror media. You can get them on most modern platforms. As for the future of this series, I'm not too sure. If we do get a fourth game though, I'm crossing my fingers it'll be good. Many thanks for watching till the end of the video. Comment below what you think of Spirit Hunter, or maybe recommend other horror games that are similar to this series. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel. As a smaller content creator, every subscription and like helps me a ton. If you feel so inclined as to support me financially, I have a Ko-fi you can donate to. Or you can buy my books off Amazon. Links in the description. Until next time, stay safe out there.